Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, chatting with Grammy Award winners Clean Bandit. Make sure to check out their new single, Rockabye, featuring one of my favorites, Sean Paul. Congrats on all of their success. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. Well, Clean Bandit, congratulations. I should actually say Grammy Award winners, Clean Bandit.
Yeah,
Do the proper introduction, right?
Yeah.
So guys, congratulations. You're coming off one of the biggest singles of 2015, and now you have a new single out, and it's really awesome. I was listening to it on the way here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's got to be fun to have this success happening, right?
It's pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah.
So walk me through the music process, because I think you guys have such a unique and interesting sound. How did it come about? How did Clean Bandit form this sound?
Well, I first started a string group. So I played cello and had 3 friends playing 2 violins and viola. And Jack was very involved in that in a kind of artistic sense, like making posters for the concerts and recording the concerts. And one day we were living together and we decided we wanted to make some music together, and we thought, how can we combine what we're doing individually, so like this classical stuff, with what Jack was experimenting with, which was electronic sounds. And we decided to put on a club night and just host this big party and invite all of our friends, and kind of made a bunch of dance music for that. And that night it was just so amazing, and people were so surprised by the mix of music, including us, and it just we knew from that moment, which was about 10 years ago now, we knew we were gonna, like, there was something special, and we've been working on it since.
Is it crazy to think, Jack, here you are, you start fiddling with this thing.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you have a Grammy Award in your kitchen. Like, how does it blow your mind to see that success has happened?
It does, yeah. I think that's one of the most surreal kind of things, that particular award and that event. Like, that's really kind of, it really blew our minds. You know, we were never expecting it to kind of go anywhere. We were happy. It was not, we didn't see it as a kind of career. It was like a, you know, it was experimentation when we were at university, and obviously there was a lot of work that did go into it before the Grammy appeared in our kitchen.
A decade of it.
Yeah, in my parents' bathroom is where it lives. But yeah, it's crazy.
So Rather Be becomes one of the biggest songs. Once it starts catching fire in the US, like, what's your reaction when you have a hit song like that? What's going through your heads? Like, oh my God, this is being played on the radio more and more and more. What's going through all your heads?
Well, I had never been to America, so first thought was, I'm going to America.
Free vacation.
Free vacation, yeah.
Yeah, and we've been literally all around, like, so many places. Last year we were here for a few months, just on a tour bus, like driving huge distances in the night from state to state, and then waking up in like crazy places that I never thought I'd go, like Dallas, and I don't know.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah, I think that was probably has been one of the highlights, touring the US. It's just been so interesting to kind of, especially when you're on the road, you're not kind of flying. You really feel the distance. You know, you wake up in this new part.
It's like what you see in movies. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you have this type of success, how does it change you personally? Like, you mentioned that this wasn't something you were even sure you were going to do as a career. Now it's a career.
Yeah.
But how does it change you both personally?
Grace has got very bitter. And kind of,
She's become a total diva.
Total diva. Yeah. She's kind of all these crazy demands.
No, I think that's not true.
No crazy waivers on tour?
No, actually. The truth is, life has become a lot easier, like, since the success has started to happen. Because before, you know, when we in the years when we decided we did want to do this as our career, but we weren't receiving any recognition from anyone else, it's really hard to kind of keep going. It was about 3 years where we were just making music all day and all night, and making music videos, and earning money on the side, but not really having enough to kind of live properly. And like, we'd have to kind of sneak onto the subway without paying and things like that. And
with
life,
a lot of equipment as well.
Yeah, all our like film equipment.
Yeah.
And it was just, and just trying to keep that belief every day that maybe someone will like the music one day.
Are there moments where you think about giving up during that time?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, a couple of moments, but to be honest, they were mostly to do with making music videos, because we do that. That was kind of, Grace told the story about how the band kind of came together, but then the next drive was actually, we really got into filmmaking and making music videos, and that was the kind of primary medium that we were interested in. And the first few things that we got known for, which was a music video called Mozart's House, which was the first thing that got played. That was the first song that got played on the radio in the UK, and it was from the video that it had been seen by the radio guys. But for us, it was the videos were the first thing, and the music was second. And sometimes we'd start a video before the track was finished, and we kind of saw ourselves as music video makers as opposed to a band for a while. So that was really, and that felt, I mean, like doing those kinds of projects without backing was really quite tough. And at some points during that the process of making those videos, it was kind of like
this is too tough.
This is too
Yeah, especially as your ideas were always quite dangerous and involved freezing cold water and everyone being underwater for like hours in January and the sea in England and stuff.
Yeah.
So
When you come off a hit single like you just had, do you now feel pressure? Is it the opposite where, hey, we have to continue to deliver?
we don't really feel that, but I think people in our record label feel that.
Welcome to the business.
But actually, like, seeing how all the business works has been such an interesting part of doing this. Like, when we decided we wanted to do this, we didn't really know what it was we wanted to do. We didn't really know how it would be, and learning about the whole kind of...
Like, this kind of thing was a big shock, doing this.
Doing interviews,
you mean interviews?
yeah.
Like,
yeah, when
well, this is my first time, so
cool.
hopefully I'm
You're
doing
doing very
okay.
well.
Thank you. First time today.
But yeah, no, it was like we didn't know that a huge part of it was the promotion, and that actually, you spend a significant amount of time just kind of talking about the music, and
yeah,
it's that was a big shock after Rather Be.
And it's tough when you've never done it before. It's so
Yeah.
tough. Doing this for a living, I always think about how awkward I would be on the other side of it, because like I personally just hate talking about myself.
yeah.
It's so much easier to ask questions of other people.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we don't.
Should I give you my mic?
I like it now, but at first, like, it's fun meeting people, like different journalists from all over the world, and everyone has different styles, and I find it fun. But at first, yeah, it was such a shock that, just after Rather Be came out in the UK, suddenly it was going off in Germany, and we had to go there and give like 60 interviews in 1 week in all the different regions of Germany. And it felt weird because we were talking so much, but we weren't actually touring or performing at that time, so it felt kind of fake.
Welcome to the business. So you've had probably so many incredibly cool moments. What's been the coolest for you both?
Coolest moment?
I think for me it was performing with the BBC Philharmonic Orchestra. We did a collaboration with them where we kind of did a version of a whole album with the orchestra and performed that with them. That for me was the highlight. I think the highlight in terms of performance.
Yeah, because we recreated all the electronic sounds using different orchestral instruments, and then we got to play in the orchestra as well because we play
That's cool.
our own instruments. So it was like, yeah, it felt like everything kind of came together when with the initial ideas for the project, and it was a cool moment.
Yeah.
How about cool celebrity moments?
Cool celebrity moments. I think we've been working with Elton John recently, and that was pretty...
Doesn't get much cooler than that.
Yeah.
Can't top that
So
one.
hanging out with him and writing music with him, for me was just kind of, you know...
Does it
out of
blow
this-
your mind? Do you,
Yeah.
Do you like
literally,
sit there and say, "Oh my God, Elton John is like
Yeah.
2 feet away from me"?
Yeah. You're literally like, this is blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was so amazing. Like the way he composes is crazy. He was just sat down at the piano as soon as he walked in and was just playing pretty much all day, like hundreds of new ideas coming every few minutes, and at the same time making like loads of jokes, talking to
A
us.
lot of very rude jokes.
How do you figure out your sound? So I was listening to Rather Be as well this morning, and I'm like, there's so many different elements happening all at the same time. How much work, how much time does it take to put together a song like that?
I think it's one of our biggest self-criticisms actually, that there's often too much going on in our music, and I'm always trying to produce in a way that's minimal now and trying to reduce the amount of layers, but it never happens, and it always just ends up getting like, when you look at a project, it's always taller than it is wide. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
And
Just sound on sound on sound on
yeah,
sound.
Yeah.
It's 3 minutes this way and then like an hour this way. Yeah, I don't know.
But
Um,
Rockabye, our new single, is relatively
It's
simple,
relatively
isn't it?
simple, yeah.
It is. I noticed that. I was going to ask her why. Was it directly to say, hey, we want to roll out a different sound from what you just experienced as our first big hit here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've always been interested in kind of, we've on the first album we've let the collaborators kind of drive where the sound is going. So we'll kind of, working with different people, we'll kind of move and shift the sound with them, and there was a lot of different sound worlds on our first album, and I think the same thing is happening with album 2 as well. Maybe not so diverse. We're maybe keeping it a bit more locked in, but
Yeah, for example, like rappers, folk singers, jazz singers, soul singers, that they were all such different styles, and their personalities, we would kind of, once we'd chosen to work with someone, we would like shift for it. But this one, we kind of made the track before we played it to Sean Paul.
By the way, isn't he not the coolest guy of all
my
time?
God.
Yeah.
He's the coolest.
He
He's
is
incredible.
actually the coolest, I think.
we did when we did a publishing deal, that one of our conditions, they basically signed us by saying we can introduce you to Sean Paul, and this was about 3 years ago, and they did. They took us to a Sean Paul concert
In London.
and we met him, and we gave him our EP, one of our first EPs on a CD, and he took it, and Grace maintains that he listened to it.
Yeah, he liked it, but that was before we'd written Rather Be, so he didn't know who we were at all, and but he liked it, and we've been hoping since then to get in the studio with him. And before, like growing up, we've listened to his music.
And he's the nicest guy. That's the greatest thing about him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so funny, and like his energy and what he kind of stands for, the type of music he makes, I think is a big inspiration for us, like the kind of playful nature of what he does.
Congratulations, guys, on everything. I loved Rather Be. I was listening to it on repeat, and I love the new single, so congrats on everything.